Good morning, everybody in YouTube land. I hope you're well. I got to thinking yesterday and today, all of the places that my husband and I have lived since we got married. There have been some humdingers, I mean. When we first got married, we stayed in his uncle's mobile home that was right beside a convenience store, and it had an addition added on to it some time or another that went down, I think, the entire length of the trailer. Well, this addition had wiggled away from the mobile home, so we had a gap in the floor like this wide all the way down. And then we didn't know it at the time, but when my husband went over there to help tear this place down, there was a piece of plastic up on the roof or up in the attic part of the addition that had like 100 gallons of water in it. And whenever you took a bath, if you wanted to, you could like push out the wall just a little bit and you could see into the parking lot of the store. You really could. So we lived there. We didn't have anywhere else to live. We lived there probably 8 months, I guess, into our marriage. And then he had been working for his uncle and a friend of his uncle's, and the friend of his uncle's offered us to rent his mobile home that was out in Steele, which is away from the city, on 28 acres, and it was 6/10 of a mile off of the road down a winding hilly driveway. Oh, it was beautiful and perfect. If you wanted to, you could lay out in the sun naked out there, because you could hear people coming up the driveway. When you went down the driveway, when you went in the driveway, you went up, all the way up past a cell phone tower, and then you went way down into a valley. And you could hear people crunching gravel and the motor running of their vehicle whenever people would be coming up. And you really could lay out naked out there if you wanted to. We lived there about, I'm wanting to say maybe 2 or 3 years. We lived out there. And let's see, where did we live after that? Oh, after that, my kids came to stay with us. They had been living with their father, and he got into a situation to where the kids needed to come and live with us for a while. And so they did. And being way out in Steele, out in the country like that, wasn't, it just wasn't, I mean, their friends lived in Gadsden. They had been raised in Gadsden. They lived in Gadsden their whole lives. So we decided to move back to Gadsden. But I didn't want to be right in the middle of Gadsden, so we decided to get a house on the outskirts of Gadsden, but close enough to where their friends could come visit or whatever, or they, could go to their friend's house. And we needed, when we lived in Steele, we only had 1 bedroom, so Gary and I had the bedroom. Stephanie slept on the couch, our daughter, and then our son, we had this huge walk-in closet. It was as big as both of my bathrooms now put together. we had our son in there on a blow-up mattress. And we needed a bigger house, so we rented a 3-bedroom house on the outskirts of Rainbow City, which is a subsidiary of Gadsden, Alabama. And we lived there for over a year. And it was great, but I knew the place was going to burn down. It would blow fuses all the time. It had those little round screw-in kind of fuses that you screwed into the box, and those things would get hot as a firecracker, and the one on the very left side would blow all of the time. And come to find out, the thing that you screw it into was loose. So we got that tightened up, but I just knew. I was walking through there one day, and I had those plug-ins, those scented plug-ins, and one of them exploded and caught on fire in the wall. And I got something and snatched it out of there, and I just knew that it was going to burn down. So we found us a mobile home in a mobile home village in the middle of Gadsden, on Sutton Bridge Road. And a year after we moved, that house burned down to the ground. Wasn't nothing left. It was unsavable. I knew it was going to burn down. I just knew it. You know, it had exploded, that plug-in, from a power surge or something through the wall. And then the fuses blew all the time. I just knew in my gut that we had to get out of there, that house was going to burn down, and it did. We lived at White Oak Village for 2 years approximately. We loved it. We loved the mobile home, but it got tiresome living. The trailers were only like maybe 50 feet apart, and it got tiresome. So then we rented a house over on Hill Avenue. Well, I feed birds and squirrels to attract them to my yard. I always have since we've been married. I became a bird watcher, and I'd feed the squirrels and things, you know, with the seed that I'd buy at Walmart. Well, one day I was outside filling up my feeders, and these little old boys come up there. They didn't see me because I was kind of around the side filling up the one on the side. And these little old boys, about between the ages maybe 7 and 12, like 4 or 5 of them came up there with a BB gun and started shooting at the squirrels in my yard. So I told them to get their butts back down there to their house and kill their own squirrels. Well, a few minutes later, I go onto the porch and I hear bing, pop, bing, pop. And I look, and these boys are down there in their yard shooting BBs at me. So I proceed to haul my butt on down there to their house and talk to their mother. Well, on my way down there, my next door neighbor, I didn't know it at the time, but she was their auntie. And she got all over them. She told them if they ever shot another BB up there in our direction or her direction or anybody's direction, if they ever shot another BB at a human being, that she was going to tear them up. Well, we lost our house. Gary's work went way down at his job that he's been at for 14 years. He's still at this company. We had to make estate signs and put them out and open our front door one day and sell our belongings and our furniture and our washer and dryer, stove, refrigerator. I had to let my dishwasher go back at Best Way. We sold our window units, I sold my clothes, all to get the money together to move to a slum. A true slum apartment that we barely would fit into. When you walk down the hallway, 2 people couldn't walk down it. You had to stand at the end and let somebody walk down it, and when they got through, then you could, go around them and proceed down. There was a kitchen, a bathroom, and a bedroom with a chair in it. We lived there 4 years. It was one of those places where all the utilities are included, and it came with gas, water, and power, and it also came with cable TV, which is a rarity around here to be able to rent a place that has cable TV. Well, through our years of living there, we became friends with the landlord. And one day he told us about this place, and I think he knew that, well, actually an apartment down on the end had been raided for meth and making making money, counterfeit money. They got raided, and they found meth and all this equipment to make this money. And whenever they came in and saw the place, well, they condemned it. They condemned the entire place, but the landlord and the owners made out as if they had condemned that apartment, and they started working on it. And about 3 months later, everybody got a letter stating that the place had been condemned, they were going to tear it down, and that we all had to find somewhere to move in 3 weeks. Well, my husband and I had already come over here and looked at this place and loved it. And we didn't have any belongings, no furniture. I mean, we had our clothes, and I had whatnots and knickknacks and things like that. Well, the man that lived here was wanting to sell all of his furniture and appliances for a lump sum. So this place was perfect for us. Not only could we buy a place, we could buy it furnished with appliances, furnished with furniture. And that's exactly what we needed. So that's exactly what we did. We did not get to close on it in time, though, to move immediately over here whenever they shut down the apartment complex thing. It was a motel with 7 rooms is what it was. It used to be a motel, and then they changed it into these apartments. It was just cement, with a little bit of grass in Atala, another subsidiary of Gadsden, Alabama. So we lived in the apartment for a long time, but by the time we got evicted from there, because they condemned the place, we had moved to the only mobile home they had out back that had a yard. So we actually had a yard for a while. I think we lived back there for probably about 6 to 8 months before they condemned the place. And it was a sad day for us. We had to go stay with friends for 3 weeks while we closed on our home. And we packed up everything we owned and stored it and in a storage unit. And I took some clothes and went and stayed with friends for 3 weeks that lived in Steele, back out there where we used to live years before. And actually, it's the lady that I just broke up with recently. that's another video diary. We were friends for years, and we're not anymore, is all I'm going to say. We stayed with them for 3 weeks while we waited on the bank to close on our house. And now we live here, and we love it. We live on a dead-end road. There's no traffic. There is no comings and goings, you know, that's dead-ended, and nobody has no business down here. And it's quiet, and it's big, and it's better than anything we've ever had lived in since we got married, and it is wonderful. And I am so grateful and thankful that my husband worked on his credit, got his credit score up to where we could buy a home. I'm not on the deed. My credit score was so bad from my previous marriage that I still have a bad credit score. I don't know if I'll ever get it straightened out or not, but we got my husband's built up to where we could actually buy a home. And that's what we did. And we struggle week to week to pay the bills. We really do. But we've been living here for 9 months. And, you know, we're this month was the first time we have ever not had our mortgage on time. And the bank went ahead and paid it for us when it came through, because my husband signed up for that overdraft protection. So when it went through the bank, they automatically paid it. The bank did. And he's going to go by there today and put 2 paychecks in, you know, to get us straightened out. And we don't have a lot of money. We can't run out and buy something we see that we want. We both smoke cigarettes, and we have to pay for that. And I am so grateful to be in a home that we are buying that has a huge yard. It has 2 peach trees, a plum tree, a fig tree. It has a huge assortment of lilies planted, rose bushes, daylilies, daffodils, clover. I planted 4 lily of the valleys when I moved in out back. I've planted 15 hostas across the back. We have a gorgeous yard, a gorgeous mobile home, and we have a garage, a storage shed, and a greenhouse. We've come a long way since we lived in that trailer where you could push the wall aside and look out into the parking lot of a convenience store. So we are truly blessed, and I just wanted to share that. I got to thinking about all of the different places and the situations at the places, and I just wanted to do a video about it, especially about the little boy shooting BBs at me. I probably will always remember that for the rest of my life. I probably will never forget that, even when I'm old and senile. The day that those little boys started shooting BBs at me because I ran them out of my yard, didn't want them killing my squirrels. I'm just as crazy as they were crazy. Anyway, so be safe, be kind to one another, and I will see you again soon here on YouTube. Bye-bye, everybody.